prototype is more valuable than a portfolio, is more valuable than a resume, is more valuable than a degree. And it's true. My name is Sahil. I'm the founder and CEO of Gumroad, a company that helps creators get paid. And I also have a rolling fund with AngelList investing around $12 million a year into early stage tech startups, $100,000 at a time. Then I have a book coming out with Penguin, October 26th, which you can learn more about at minimalistentrepreneur.com. And I tweet a lot, which is probably why you're watching this video. So I thought it'd be fun to go through them and sort of explain maybe some of the context behind these sometimes cryptic, always pithy tweets. First one, hard skills get you in, soft skills get you far. I've been trying to sum up this insight that I had for a while. I think this is the most succinct that I've gotten it, which is basically that to get into every industry, hard skills are the things that get you in, right? Knowing how to code, knowing how to design, knowing how to make movies if you're in Hollywood, right? Like every industry that has a filter, the easiest way to get in is hard skills, because hard skills require real effort. They're easy to show off. They're hard to disprove. Soft skills are the things though that get you to the end. If I look at all the successful people that I know, they generally get to a certain level of competency with their hard skills, and then they get really, really, really far with insanely high emotional intelligence. Like that's generally what I see. My guess is that Patrick and John from Stripe are pretty smart, great engineers if they wanted to be. But my guess is they are much stronger on the soft skill side. And so that's kind of the take, is that, you want hard skills. Those are super key, get you in the door. But generally if you want to be a founder, CEO of a company someday or what have you, generally it's the soft skills that will get you all the way there. Good hiring looks a lot like firing yourself. Obviously there's the rhythm. Hiring and firing is kind of a fun mnemonic, but generally I think the idea here is that, look, like I'm trying to work myself out of a job. I think that the idea that people like working is crazy. No one likes working. If you could get paid to do nothing, most people would. And so, that's kind of what I try to do every day, is I try to look at my life and say, okay, what do I do that I don't need to do, that someone else can do for me, and hire those folks. I think the sort of sub message of this tweet is that you should only hire for a job that you're capable of doing yourself. I like doing the job, learning how to do the job before hiring someone to do the job for me. Start a side project instead of a company. Write a blog post instead of a book. Lower the stakes to increase the odds. Again, lower and increase is kind of a nice turn of phrase, but the point just being, I think people just have too high of a sort of activation energy to get started. Either it's with entrepreneurship or with writing a book. And I just think when you have high stakes, like you just end up second guessing yourself. It's kind of like going out for a 5-mile run. Like your heart races. Like it's just a lot easier to put on your running shoes and go for a walk and say, hey, if I decide to run, I'll do it. And 9 times out of 9, you'll go for the run. And so this is just about starting, right? Just how do you start? Well, you start by making it easy to start, right? Pick a really, really small thing and then figure it out from there. You're doing it all wrong, said someone doing nothing at all. Yeah, this is kind of a pretty direct commentary on sort of Twitter. And I know that Twitter is not representative of the broader world, which is kind of also the point here, is that Twitter is this weird echo chamber where everyone cares, it seems, but really nobody's doing anything, at least on Twitter, right? We're just all shouting into the void, including this tweet. Just kind of, a joke around all these folks who are kind of complaining about other people doing something, but then, sort of ironically not doing anything themselves, right? Which I think is kind of just a funny thing that happens, is that the people who are doing the most are often the quietest, and the people who are the loudest, they care enough to criticize, but not enough to do anything about it, right? Which is maybe the worst amount to care, because it stresses you out, but you aren't actually doing anything to improve the problem. Free college for all, YouTube. Pretty simple. This is kind of a joke on kind of the Bernie Sanders kind of free college for all platform. I'm a big Bernie Sanders supporter, big fan, wrote some code for the campaign back in the day. But I do think that free college for all is kind of crazy, mostly because I think most of college is stupid and doesn't actually lead to earning an income later in life, which is the most important thing. If you make something free, is it kind of has to pay for itself with taxes, etc. So I think a sort of a better way is to just say, look, we already have free college for all. All of this stuff you can go learn on the internet. You can learn on YouTube and Wikipedia, and that's where I learned basically everything today. And so, yeah, I thought it was kind of a fun way to say, look, we already have this dream, this pie in the sky idea that we don't need to spend, X amount of money to get there. We already have it. Prototype is greater than portfolio, is greater than resume, is greater than degree. I often use the greater than sign. You can kind of guess it probably just means something like prototype is more valuable than a prototype is more valuable than a portfolio, is more valuable than a resume, is more valuable than a degree. And it's true. Again, this kind of goes back to the hard skills get you in. Prototypes show hard skills. Portfolios are not as great as a prototype because it's not as specific to a problem you're trying to solve that would be relevant to me, but it's better. A resume is not great, but it's at least proof that you've done some amount of work for somebody. And then a degree is the worst, right? Because it basically just says you got into a school when you were 17 years old. Not super relevant, at least to the folks I talk to. And I guess important to point out that there's sort of two ways to look at this, because I effectively am a recruiter 2 times over, one for engineers and design and other talent for Gumroad, and then as a VC talking to lots of founders. And both should be the same, which is I value the prototype more than the portfolio, more than the resume. I don't even, to be honest, care about the resume or the degree. I just care about the first two. And that's it. Hopefully you like my tweets. You can find me at shl on Twitter. If you want more, if you want to read 52,000 words instead of 280 characters, you can buy my book or pre-order it at minimalistentrepreneur.com. Comes out October 26th. Thanks. Bye.